ardent dream of a 100-child mother. Being in this world, everyone probably has his or her own dreams and ambitions. And whatever a dream it is, it always stays high and far and very hard to be realized to our ability. One wishes to be rich and successful. One wishes to be healthy and happy. Others have a very simple wish, which is a cozy and get-together family to be indulged in. As for mothers and would-be mothers, the biggest dream in their life is purely to see their children to be peaceful, healthy, daily grow up, and so on. Let's imagine a worst-case scenario like this. If unfortunately, one day in the future, we encounter very tremendous upheavals in our life, such as catching a hopeless disease, a sudden accident, just to name a few. And then we have to leave our children forever, while they are still so young. No one cares and brings them up, and how are they going to live in the world? Such the imagination has already made each of us feel heartbreaking. With our mother's caring and cosseting hands, and with our mother's anxiety and protection, where the children's life is going to be anchored and how they are going to live. And there is a mountain of other anxiety, such as how the children are to fight against the life that is full of difficulties and traps. They are going to schools or have to strive to make a living. They will become the good or the bad? To answer these questions, we have visited Quê Hương Humanity Center in Tân Đông Hiệp Ward, Dĩ An Town, which has been housing and bringing up over 350 orphaned and disabled children. The center has been set up since 2001 by Miss Huỳnh Tiểu Hương, who used to be an orphan child. When it comes to Miss Huỳnh Tiểu Hương, many people instantly think of a benevolent woman full of affection to another people, as well as the director of a humanity center whose name sounds very simple, Quê Hương Humanity Center. I have seen her for many times, and my impression to her is the same as the impression that has imprinted on the mind of many people when they have seen her. Miss Tiểu Hương is not a beautiful woman. It is her small stature, tidy short hair, and charming gesture that has helped her win numerous hearts thanks to the extraordinary energy via activities she had rendered to the society. Orphaned and disabled children in her Quê Hương Humanity Center, as well as in other locations. Not all can do the likewise. She absolutely deserves the title to one of 10 women who have stirred Vietnamese poses and hers, awarded in 2006 by the Associated Societies of Vietnamese Women. Confiding to us, she said that her passionate dream is still to hope and pray that the society as a whole has less the lives of unhappy children so that they don't have to suffer from further disadvantages. Such the praying is not aimed at relieving some of her hardship, while being asked why she can't remember all of her 300 children, her eyes are deep in traces of tears. Then she clearly tells each case, this is the 7-day-old child she had picked up from the lawn 7 months ago, when its umbilical cord had not been cut yet, and it has wrapped in a newspaper. This is the child she has picked up in front of the center's doors in one morning of early 2012. And at the very moment, this child has completely in black and blue. She gave a name to each child after the newborns had taken them to her center. Currently, each child in the center has its name and surname of Huỳnh. 350 have their own names, and the mother of these hundreds of children not only remembers all of their names, but also sees through each child's habits, character, and so on. One has one life and has only one heart to love and to be loved. Thus, there has been some time when Miss Tiểu Hương has thought that the number of children with her surname of Huỳnh has been more and more increasing. Then, if she can have enough affection to cover all of them. But then, days after days, being alongside them, Miss Tiểu Hương has realized that her anxiety has been groundless. Because since the time she has from 1 to 2 children, Miss Tiểu Hương has cared, loved, and cherished them as the most priceless treasure in her life. When the number ups from 5 to 7 children, tens and then hundreds of them, she finds her heart still overflowing with affection and responsibility for them. Miss Tiểu Hương gives each child another way of care and affection, but all of them can feel her boundless love. And Miss Tiểu Hương thinks that, though she can have thousands of children, her affection and heart still keep unchanged to each child, and she always has her own ways of giving her affection to all of them. With such the thinking, she is always ready to have her arms quite opened to welcome newborn babies left abandoned in parks, hospitals, and even in dustbins. While their own parents were merciless enough to give up their children as if they have already discharged or doffed up some burden, a pain in the neck, Miss Tiểu Hương is indescribably pleased and happy whenever she picks up an abandoned child. Though she knows that adding another child to her center means the heavier anxiety imposed onto her shoulders, but Miss Tiểu Hương still wants to protect and help all of them. Because of being fatherless, they have suffered enough miseries, and being motherless means much more miseries. By such the way, groups by groups of children have grown up, and she keeps caring and bringing up other orphan children. She said since the days of inception, Quê Hương Humanity Center has not been a household name to many people. Sometimes few benefactors have come to offer relief to the children, to look after them full board and lodging, as well as close to the center's tiny lives. Still feeling lonely, she has to run about, moved heaven and earth, took up numerous things to do for a living, and travel lots of localities to ask for the financial donation. Since the center inception, due to lacking of money to employ baby sisters, only Miss Tiểu Hương and some volunteer women took over anything. Thus she was responsible for all stuff of caring to the children. But she has still felt very happy because the things that charity must come from real actions and a warm heart instead of vain words. Though she has faced countless hardships along with her children, she does not want to leave them because of the hardship. Many people have come here to ask for adopted children, but she has never agreed. Because she thinks that she has had a strong attachment to the children, how she can be careless enough to let them go. She both cannot find it in her heart to let any of them go, and she is very anxious for them. The life of her children has been loaded with miseries because of their being left abandoned. Then they have been lucky enough to be her children. Now, if she lets them go as adopted children, and if they unfortunately relapse into the circumstances which they are not kindly cared for, then miseries stay much worse, and unhappiness surely grows worse and worse to her tiny children. She is very afraid that her children's lives are going to relapse into her unhappy circumstance she previously used to experience. She told us about her life, which makes us unable to resist our tears. She does not know who her own parents are, but just know that she has been left abandoned when she was born. Her childhood memories have been days opposed to sun and dew at some street stands or market corners. She has spent all days long wandering around many streets to do for a living. She has tasted many black and blue showers of blows from rascals and swashbucklers during such the wandering days of her. Sometimes she has been exhausted starving because she cannot find out anything to eat. She has fallen to distress in a faint, but she has been alive. She has survived as a kind of wild grass, which naturally goes higher to flourish. There has been some time she has been an adopted child, but after a short period of time, she came back to her previous street life to earn her living. She has lived the dust-like life over 20 years along streets, being homeless and suffering some distress and bitterness. She was forced to use drugs one time, was hit by fugitive cigarettes, was raped, and even has thrown into Saigon Bridge, but she was lucky enough to survive. Such the miseries and the bitterness have made her see through the miseries of these orphaned and homeless children. Thus, she has determined to do her best to supply her children with food, board and lodging and warm clothes. They are entitled to go to school to learn their lessons or a trade so that they can look after themselves in the future. Her inner wishes and those of other mothers are alike. They want to look after, take care of, and bring up their children to become grown-up and useful people, so that none of them is to suffer from further miseries anymore, as she has undergone herself. Over 20 years to run and lie about street stands and market corners, Miss Tiểu Hương has never thought of a day when her life missed with such the good fortune. It was one day in 1989. A Taiwanese patron came to a dining shop and saw her doing an au pair. It was not clear why he had her as his adopted child. After that, he came back his country, and before returning to the country, he had given her 20,000 gold as her working capital. Having this sum, she has decided to buy a house to live in. A short time after that, some people have asked to buy this house with a double price. Because it is profitable, she has sold it without any further thinking. And afterwards, she has decided to invest into real estate trading. The business has been more and more advantageous, and only in a short period of time, she has had a working capital which amounts to hundreds of gold taels. The wandering girl in the bygone days has become a billionaire. Her life is like a fairy tale with its happy ending. It can be said that, via her own will, Miss Huỳnh Tiểu Hương has lived and surmounted her fate. And with her dream of building up new life for the younger generation who will follow in her footsteps to look after the unhappy lives, she has set up Quê Hương Humanity Center. So far, her center has entered its 13 years old. Just the time of a human life is so short. But with Quê Hương Humanity Center, such the time in operation have helped rescue thousands of orphaned and disabled lives from death, facilitating their growing up and giving them the dreaming wings. Thus such the time has been a long path, loaded with countless difficulties and challenges, which the center and Miss Tiểu Hương cannot surmount and develop as they have been gaining so far if they have not had the immense affection for these unhappy children, will and energy to better themselves. It is very inherent, indispensable, and familiar with everybody to have both a mother and a father in a cozy home, but it is the ardent dream and the innermost feelings to these orphan children. How to make the dream come true? It is the dream the woman who has stirred Vietnamese pulses and hers, Huỳnh Tiểu Hương, has been going on and will be going on pursuing.